In this video, I want to go ahead and just kind of give a rough overview as to what this course is going to entail, what you would hopefully be learning if you don't already know it, and some things we're going to be using like frameworks. So to begin, this is intended to be a very data-oriented kind of series. And what I'm referring to when I say that is things like, the wall weapon, the debris, all this kind of stuff. They're defined by data. So, for example, if we take a look, well, simplest one's going to be the debris, and we scroll down, you can see it has a data asset here, and that data asset contains all the information that it needs, and so on and so forth. So, everything's defined by data, and these debris are just C++ actors that we make. So, we just basically drag them into the world, give them a data asset, and it constructs itself out of just that data. And same thing for the wall weapons, same thing for the weapons in the mystery box. Those are in the project settings, all that kind of stuff. And likewise, including, granted, this isn't actually here at the moment, but the music box, same kind of thing, except that reads off of your hard drive or your SSD, basically your disk. So out of your save directory, there's a music folder. You just drag and drop whatever songs you want into said music folder, and you can basically play them through the music box. So moving forward with that, we are making use of state tree for the zombies. And to really help kind of optimize the zombies, we are utilizing the significance manager. So I don't know where, there's one. So basically what I'm referring to when I say the significance manager is we are setting it up using Epic's description of a bucket system. So essentially, if I come over here to project settings, we have our buckets here, and we only have it for the zombie pawn, as we don't really, we're only going to have 4 players. I mean, you could have more if you wanted, but we don't really need to have them on the players. There's just not enough of a demand, in my opinion, there. But we have 3 buckets. So bucket 0 is essentially LOD 0. So it's the highest detail, the highest tick rate, and all that stuff of the zombies. So 5 zombies are able to just tick at full force. And what determines whether or not they fall in bucket 0, 1, or 2, 1 being a slower tick, 2 being an even slower tick, and 3 being the slowest, is going to be their distance away from you and whether or not they were recently rendered. So, for example, let's say we have a zombie at this player start here and a zombie here. So, if I'm in the middle of them, say right here, and I'm looking at this zombie, well, this zombie, because it's not being rendered, is going to be ticking at a much lower rate than this one. And if I switch and look over this way, this zombie is now going to be ticking at a higher rate than this one because it's putting them in different buckets, assuming that the bucket is full. So that's kind of a rough idea on how it works. And then again, as even if you have, say, 50 zombies really close to you, it's going to automatically go through and still be sorting those out based on essentially priority. So think of buckets as priority. Moving on from there, we are utilizing gas, so the gameplay ability system, uh, really quite heavily. So we have quite a few abilities. We use it for the zombies, we use it for the player, we use it for pretty much every type of action and interaction and stuff like that that you can do. So shooting, reloading, interacting, all that kind of stuff, reviving, giving rewards, etc. So our points and all that stuff down here, the ammo, these are all attributes. And then for some of the UI, not all of it, because I'm pretty bad with it, but things like the what do you call it, the scoreboard and the points, the name, all that kind of stuff, those are going to be utilizing the view model. So for the most part, everything gameplay driven for the UI is using the view model. I honestly, I just kind of like it. It just makes things, in my opinion, simpler, and it's quite fast because all you really have to do is just have your data in one location, and anything UI can just bind to that data. So whenever you make a change to said data, well, everything using it, such as the scoreboard showing your points and the points at the bottom right, they now just update. So I find it quite useful. In terms of the procedurals and gunplay, it It's probably not that big of a surprise, but we're using my SKG shooter framework. If I was to go through and try to remake it from scratch for this series would be several times longer, and it's already quite long. I mean, we're at 543 videos, and I'm not entirely done yet. So this video is kind of being made a little bit prematurely. Okay, so from the, I guess you could say, the visual side, graphic side, whatever you want to call it, we are not using nanite and lumen anymore. So we were at the start. I don't think we were ever really using nanite. I think a couple assets had them ticked on by mistake, but yeah, nanite's off, lumen is off, and we are now using baked lighting. Likewise, we are not using deferred. We are using forward, or in Epic's case, forward plus with MSAA. So the reasons for that are going to be performance and requirements. So what I mean by requirements is we have no real need for any dynamic lights, like at all. There's no time of day, there's no really anything. There's just only static lights. They don't get broken. And even if they could get broken, that's something we can go through and tweak very easily to where they can just be, well, turned off. And next one being performance. So performance being I wanted this to run on pretty much anything. So this has no problems running, especially on medium and even high settings on some of the iGPUs that were tested when we were doing some play tests. So you can crank this on high in cinematic, and again, it's just for modern computers, it's no sweat. So those were kind of the big things that I really wanted to have to where anybody could just load this up, play it, have fun. My amazing model, and just again, it's kind of getting away from the stigma of UE5 performance equals bad. Next up is going to be regarding, well, as put, stutter struggles, or maybe just stutter struggle. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but yeah. So to avoid getting around that later on throughout the series, I don't remember. I think it was probably past video 450, maybe 500. We start working on setting up a shader compilation, well, system. So whenever you load into the main menu, you're going to be met with a compiling shaders. It's going to go through, compile the remaining shaders that need it, and that's it. So then you don't have to worry about PSO pre-caching, making sure that it hits everything as it needs to, all that kind of stuff, because there are things that it will miss, such as the mystery box. So these are not loaded really. They're not, how you can say, assuming you have nothing in your shader cache, the weapons in here are not all going to be loaded right away. So they're not going to be compiled or caught really by the PSO pre-caching. So as it's cycling through the weapons, it's going to end up hitting one that it hasn't seen before and causing a spike. So that's a good test setup there, so to speak. And because we're using PSO bundles and compiling them, ahead of time, we don't have to worry about that because again, everything that we wanted to basically catch ahead of time is already compiled. So we should have a nice, smooth experience, no stutters. We should have very high frame rates, and likewise, we get the benefits of MSAA, so we don't have any smearing or jitter, anything like that. Everything is just nice, sharp, and just plays smoothly like it should be. So, yeah, I think that is pretty much everything. If it wasn't obvious, this is a C++ based project. We do use Blueprint in some places, such as some of the zombie abilities and some small stuff like that, but predominantly it is C++. Okay, so I think that's everything. I'm already sure I missed something that I meant to talk about, but anyways, I will see you in the next one.